They once told us that nothing grows here except dust and hunger. But what if the real harvest is freedom? For decades, Burkina Faso was portrayed as nothing more than a barren patch of the Sahara. Weak soil, little rain, and people surviving on sacks of foreign grain. Aid trucks became as common as sunrise, and self-reliance was treated like a cruel joke. But in July 2025, Captain Ibrahim Traore refused to play that game. He stopped negotiating with the IMF. He didn't travel to foreign capitals with an empty high, bowl in hand. Instead, he took $140 million from his own national budget and planted it not in banks, but in the ground. His weapon was simple yet revolutionary in Africa's context: the plantain. This wasn't just farming. It was a declaration that Burkina Faso could feed itself, reclaim sovereignty, and break the chains of dependence passed down for generations. The question now: if Burkina Faso can do it, why can't the rest of us? And if this experiment fails, will it be because of the soil, or because the world won't allow it to succeed? The story began in a dusty village near Bobo Dioulasso, where Traore met an old farmer named Amada. The man remembered when the land once fed people before foreign rice and wheat arrived. His words cut through decades of aid dependency and sparked in Traore the vision for the largest agricultural project in Burkina Faso's modern history. In early 2025, Traore announced a $200 million national plantain project. The goal: transform thousands of hectares of empty land into plantain fields within 2 years. For the first time, it was financed entirely from Burkina Faso's own budget. Revenue gained through the nationalization of gold mines. The choice of plantain was no accident. It grows in harsh West African soils, provides year-round food, and can be turned into flour, chips, beer, and animal feed. Most importantly, it carried no shadow of colonial agriculture. It was part of Africa's own heritage. The project was rolled out with military discipline. Agricultural scientists, irrigation engineers, and community leaders were dispatched across 15 regions. Military trucks carried seedlings, compost, and water pumps instead of weapons. Radio stations broadcasted farming instructions in multiple languages. School children were brought to fields to learn planting and crop care, turning agriculture into a matter of national pride. The first months brought both excitement and doubt. Traders dismissed it as politics, but in villages, farmers felt, for the first time in decades, that their labor was at the center of national policy. Soon, barren. Fields turned green. Women's cooperatives received grants to launch plantain-based businesses. Youth found jobs in irrigation and transport. Yet success drew attention. International organizations arrived. The IMF advised crop diversification to reduce risk. Traore's reply was blunt: "We will not diversify dependency." Then came the true test. The rainy season arrived late. Leaves turned yellow. Wells dried up. Fuel for pumps ran out. Critics called it the banana gamble. Foreign media echoed the same phrase, yet farmers did not retreat. Women carried water, youth dug trenches, and communities held the line. In early August, the rains finally came, enough to save half the crop. On live television, standing in the mud, Traore declared, "This is not about bananas. It is about our destiny. If we fail, let it be because we tried, not because we obeyed." His words spread like fire. Donations for irrigation surged. Even critics admitted the passion was contagious. Slowly, results appeared. Migrants began returning to their villages. Markets sold plantain flour, bread, and snacks. The grain import bill shrank. New factories opened, export routes formed, but not everyone benefited. Import traders saw losses and began protests. Internationally, debate erupted. Some called it a model for African self-reliance. Others called it a reckless gamble. Western governments and the IMF grew cautious. European farm lobbies worried about competition. China saw opportunity, offering machinery and fertilizer partnerships. Across Africa, leaders took notice. Some hinted at launching their own indigenous crop projects. The stakes are high. If this small West African nation succeeds, it will prove that even without oil, without G7 membership, a country can rewrite its fate. If it fails, it will be paraded as a cautionary tale. The truth is, hunger is not always an accident. Sometimes it is maintained to keep nations dependent. Breaking that cycle is not just about planting a crop. It is about putting a target on your back. Traore knows planting is easy. Protecting it is the hard part. This isn't just Burkina Faso's story. It could be a wave of change for all of Africa. But revolutions, even peaceful ones, are fragile. They don't survive on the strength of one leader alone, but on the will of the people and the alliances they build. So the question is, do we want a world where food sovereignty is real? Or are we content with the old system of dependency? Will we let this vision be crushed before it bears fruit? If you believe these questions matter, keep them alive. Talk about them. Share them. Challenge the belief that nothing can change, because the next chapter of this story will not be written in secret, but it could be written without you.